Network. It so happened that we have a team of members who visited IHA office, and it is their friendly deliberations which made them possible to enter into this MOU. Just one small, this meeting is being live streamed. Are you able to see that also? Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
There is no pop-up window seen, no? Is the entire window clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So it is the friendly ventures when a team of Asian Network members visited the IHA office. The MOU, signing of the MOU got germinated. So in fact, it was initiated in June 2020, and after several deliberations with online meetings, the final draft of the MOU was finished in December 2020, and the MOU got signed in February 2021. These are the clippings where we had several virtual global meet to decide on the draft of MOU, and this is the signatories of MOU. And the scope of IHA Asian Network MOU includes exchange program for student, faculty, administrative staff, and we have periodical faculty development programs, educational and cultural tours, understanding academic programs, undertaking and collaborative activities, creation and sharing of e-resources, and conduct of certificate courses online, organizing conferences or seminars, which we are witnessing one such right now, collaborative research projects, publication of journals, and helping for the ranking processes. As we know, having signed the MOU, swirled by the winds of Corona, the actual inauguration, the formal inauguration took place in the Triennial Conference in December 2021. These are the clippings taken during the inaugural session. And to mark as the first event of this collaboration, a book was released under the name American Popular Culture, wherein the authors are solely from Asian Network. These are the Asian Network Guiding Group members who are constantly in touch with us, guiding us the activities. From the part of IHA, feeling that the resource pool over here is not being strengthened among the Christian educational institutions, IHA felt the need to create a resource pool wherein we have 6-member coordination committee and 14 members as core committee requesting for one nodal person from each institute. And this nodal person will interact with the principal and identify the experts from their colleges. And this experts team will serve as the resource pool for IHA, which will be posted in the website so that the Asian Network members could see that and strengthen their collaborations. And the subject experts have been divided into 3 categories: subject expert, research expert, and skill expert. Skill in the sense of communication skill, ICT tools. So a college will have 3 different categories of creating the resource pool for subject expert, research expert, and skill expert. These are the forms which has been circulated to the principals. So far, we have received from 43 colleges, the nodal members, and the nodal members in turn will give the list of experts in consultation with the principals, and the individuals will give their profiles for their Asian Network membership. So after which we had several global small group meets in June 2021 and May 2022, wherein it was decided the design of website of Asian Network was shared, and the role of IHA and Asian Network in facilitating the collaborations from both sides was discussed, and few online programs, periodical programs are to be planned, and cultural exchange programs are to be strengthened. And the second program, what was ventured, which was of great success, is the student collaboration in literature across the globe between America and India. There were 3 institutions involved. One is from Holy Cross College. The other one is from Bishop College and from Salesian College, Siliguri. The Asian Network coordinator was Preeti Joshi from University of Puget Sound. 5 students from each college were selected, and then these 15 students were made to interact with 15 students of Preeti Joshi online. And they discussed several things about American and Indian literature. The only challenge was to find out a convenient time for them to have online meets. Nevertheless, they had very enriching experience. With an urge to popularize this Asian Network MOU, there was a mega relationship building webinar, which was planned on 29 September 2022, wherein we had 13 Asian Network members and 300 faculty members across India participated. 3 members from Asian Network and 3 members from our side of IACHE propped up the possible collaborative activities. And later on, we moved into 9 different breakout rooms under the heads of religious studies, media and cultural studies, natural sciences, social sciences, language and literature, history, and administrators remained in the main room discussing about the institutional collaborations. So this was really fruitful, which gave us an impetus for this program. The 4th activity was when Dr. Lisa Trivedi, the professor of history, Hamilton College, Clinton, visited India for her research purpose, and she made it a point to meet IACHE office. And there was an interactive meeting with the General Secretary and few members from Mary and Jesus College, Delhi. The interaction was highly fruitful, as a result of which we had Asian Network collaborations and research proposals in humanities and social sciences, an online meet on 25th February, wherein 111 participants were there in the meet. We were also given a special session in the annual conference of Asian Network, which held on 16th April 2023. The 4 members for the George Tadakkal, the former president of IACHE, myself, Dr. M. Gautam from Loyola College, and Dr. M. Mary Jayanti from Holy Cross College were there in the annual conference. Mary Jayanti presented on the impact of South Asian literature and culture in Asian studies. And now we are witnessing the International FDP, the first one of its kind, due to the outcome of this IACHE Asian Network collaborations. We are indeed thankful to Loyola Academy, Hyderabad, for taking up this venture and making it a highly successful program. As we think about the future activities, we look forward for several webinars, workshops, and conferences, student and staff exchange programs, collaborations in terms of teaching and research. This could be highly possible if and only if we have one-on-one interaction, and there are 2 separate websites, one for IACHE and Asian Network. IACHE website will host all the expert team from our side, and we request the members from every college to visit Asian Network site to find out an intersection of your domain of expertise and theirs. If that is identified, Dan Chofness from Asian Network and IACHE from India can facilitate one-to-one interaction, and this could pop up as a fruitful collaborative activity. So the only request from IACHE side is that every faculty should visit Asian Network website, finding out their own domain of expertise. So finally, I would like to thank for the George Tadakkal, for the former president, for the Reverend Father Xavier Vedam, the General Secretary, Dan Chofness, the Executive Director of Asian Network, Dr. D. Paul Diabran, the former principal, and Dr. J. Princey Merlin, the principal in charge of Bishop College, for being very supportive with all the activities of IACHE, Board of Directors and Guiding Group of Asian Network, core committee members of IACHE and Asian Network, the participants, the coordinator of Fets 2023, Dr. Rama, and Larissa. Thank you very much. I believe Dan and for the George should be there. And I'd be happy if there are any queries to answer. And over to Larissa for the rest of the proceedings.
Thank you, Professor.
Good evening, Dan.
We have with us Professor Dan Shofnes, an Executive Director of Asia Network and Professor Emeritus of Biology and Asian Studies at Carthage College in Wisconsin.
Good. Thank you very much. I've just been permitted to unmute. This is great. I really appreciate this. Thank you, Dr. Josephine, for that wonderful introduction to our collaboration. And I just thank all the organizers who've been involved in this collaboration and in the current Fets program, Dr. Shive, Father Vedam, Father George, and so many others who have played a role, all the collaborators over all these years. We're really seeing these wonderful, fruitful exchanges take place, and I hope that we'll have a chance to discuss now some additional opportunities to build upon what we've already done together. I have some slides, and so if the host could enable sharing, I'd be able to present some slides and discuss with everyone a little bit about Asia Network's background, so you can come to know our organization a little bit, and especially some avenues for possible work together in the future. Okay. So if the host could enable screen sharing, I think that would permit me to present some slides.
Dan, they are just giving it. Just 1 second.
Yes. Okay. Good. It has been enabled. Wonderful. Okay. So I believe that you should see some slides now. Okay. Okay, and how does that appear to you? Do you see my slide?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Marvelous. Okay, so again, I just really appreciate this opportunity. It's so wonderful to see everyone here, and also those who may be streaming. There we go. I would like to just talk a little bit about Asia Network's history, about our mission, and really with an eye to looking for ways that we can continue to interact between India and US in a number of different ways. Asia Network is a consortium of colleges and universities. We were founded more than 30 years ago. Originally, our membership was comprised of small private liberal arts colleges. Some were church affiliated, some not, and really with the idea of bringing people together from different institutions to collaborate in shared interests in faculty development, in pursuing teaching, in finding opportunities to share resources, even through grants. And so many of our institutions have historically been rather small or medium-sized, rather than the large universities that tend to have more resources. And all of this is to promote education about Asia for our students and to enable faculty opportunities in support of that.
Dan, very sorry to intervene. Is there a way that you can make full screen?
Yes, let me see what I can do about that. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Glad to see this. So currently we have over 140 colleges and universities that are members of Asia Network. We have an institutional model of membership and faculty-driven governance and programming. Our institutions comprise private and public institutions, all with a primarily undergraduate or bachelor level student population. Our mission includes these 5 areas. We engage in collaborative learning programs for faculty and for students. We try to facilitate student and faculty travel to Asia. We promote research about Asia among our faculty at our institutions. We mount an annual conference. We have publications and a website, and we enable consultations and sharing of expertise on Asian studies curriculum among our membership. Some of the ways that we carry out this mission, we can see in our programming, both in the past and our present programming. For example, we have, through external grants, been able to support faculty-mentored student projects in Asia, where faculty and several students can travel to sites in Asia for several weeks, for example, during the summer, to carry out local projects. We have sponsored, through grants, postdoctoral teaching fellowships. We have sought to support student scholarship through a student essay award. We have an open access peer-reviewed journal called Asia Network Exchange, focusing on research and pedagogy related to the undergraduate classroom. And we also have a book series, also open access, available anywhere in the world for download. These are peer-reviewed monographs focusing on topics that are of interest to educators in Asian studies and the liberal arts. And we have faculty development programs. So for example, in 2018, a group of faculty members from Asia Network institutions traveled to China and India to examine issues of religion in national and international affairs. This was led by Dr. Glenn Shive and Father George, who we see here with the group in Sonata. Our members are developing what we call emerging projects. In these initiatives, we're looking to create new connections among our membership, between our institutions, and with colleagues around the world. For example, we're really seeking some collaboration and partnership in these areas. And so this is an invitation, and we'll have several in the next few minutes. There are many ways that we're seeking closer connections and involvement with our partners in IACHE. We have a group of faculty pursuing topics related to disability in Asian studies. This has to do with both scholarship around disability and teaching students with disabilities in learning about Asia. We are interested in climate justice and action. We have a group of faculty working on projects related to Blackness in Asian studies. We have a group working on Asian American studies in the classroom and out in the world. What are the connections between the North American experience and the experience of Asians in the vast diaspora? And so we're looking to make these connections across borders, or even to tackle some of these borderless issues that are very intriguing and certainly demand our attention. We'd like to engage from the faculty and also for our students. And of course, engaging India. Here, we have a group of faculty that are very, that have taken on this project of establishing and fostering more connections between our organizations. And we really hope to see more of these connections form over the next period of time. In fact, this meeting is one great opportunity to make some of these connections. And so in the time that we have here today, I really hope we can have a conversation about some ideas that you may have, some opportunities that you may see to forge connections and put people in touch with each other on one basis, institution to institution, department to department, person to person. So what are some of these opportunities? What might they look like? And we've already seen several examples taking place through our MOU as Dr. Josephine introduced us to. We are eager to see student interaction and exchange, virtual or in person when possible, more opportunities for collaborative teaching and research. We see possibilities to share teaching resources, pedagogies, skill sharing, instructor hosting and exchange. We see potential for further conference presentations, thematic webinars, guest lectures, for example, in classes that you may be mounting on your campuses. There may be opportunities for educators from Asia Network to participate and give a guest lecture. Likewise, we've heard from many of our Asia Network members who would be very interested to have an expert from IACHE join in a class that's taking place on an American campus. Publications, etc. So I'd like to talk a little bit about what some of the possibilities might be, some of those that we've just heard about, and we can talk a little bit more about some of the ways to make these materialize. Okay, so here's the contact information to reach us, and we stand ready to facilitate whatever new conversations would take place to move forward in ideas that you may have. But some of those that have already taken place that we've just been introduced to, we've had collaborations between American and Indian institutions that brought students together to discuss areas of common interest. For example, literature. We have seen a faculty exchange take place where a faculty member at an American institution visited India to teach some classes in India following a role-playing based teaching modality called Reacting to the Past. And this professor, Sherry Moe from DePaul University, visited an institution in India where she was able to carry out a teaching exercise as part of a study, a comparative study of teaching using this Reacting to the Past role-playing modality in the United States, in India, and then she took her course to Taiwan. So it was a very interesting project that she carried out. Asia Network faculty members have been eager to participate in Indian conferences, for example, through online lectures, keynote presentations, or participation in panels. These are all things that we are very interested to see carried forward. So what I'd like to do now is just open the floor for a conversation about what are some possibilities and maybe how do we collectively see ways to bring them about. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan, for the concise possibilities which you have jotted down, which would really help us to work on different lines for collaborations.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor.
We now have Professor Father George Tadatil, STB, has a doctorate from the School. Josephine, ma'am.
Yes, there is
Could you please,
echoing.
Father
There's some-
George Tadatil?
Reverend Father George Tadatil, he has been very instrumental in building up this MOU. He was the former principal of Salesian College, Siliguri. He was former president of IACHE, and at present he's in US for building up academic collaborations. We are very happy to have you amidst us, Father, not minding the odd times. Thank you very much, Father, for your presence. May I invite you to brief your points and suggestions for building up collaborations between Asia Network and India. Is Father not here? Kindly wait. Father will be joining in a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, the faculty members, if you're having any queries, you can just discuss with Dan. If you have any ideas of collaborations of your team of interest which you would like to share, you're most welcome to unmute and speak. I believe everybody is not given permission to unmute. Just 1 second, we will make that.
And there may be those who are streaming or who may be viewing on site. and perhaps there may be someone who could facilitate questions in the chat too, which we can attend to as well.
Hello, this is Glenn Shive calling. Dan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Fabulous, wonderful. You look
Yes.
great. Thank you for joining us. We've had a great day, and we have a good day tomorrow planned. I wanted to ask you, as you see the rising number of students from India that are coming to American colleges and universities, some of your Asia Network members, how do you see that influencing the potential for growing collaboration between colleges here in India and colleges in America that have a greater India capacity and presence of Indian life and academic work?
Yes, thank you for that question, and thank you to all who are involved in organizing the on-site program, the Fets program. Very exciting. Dr. Benson, Dr. Fitch, Father Vedam, and of course Glenn. Thank you for that question. The growing number of Indian students in American colleges and Indian American students, it really highlights for us, I think, what we're seeing as recognizing that our students learning about Asia is learning about very much their own, often their own cultures or their own connections to other parts of the world. And so we're actually now finding that our curriculum on campus, or our possibilities for exchange with others, is really related to this new and changing pluralism that we're finding in American society and in societies overseas. So really, there are even more opportunities now for our students to see themselves and see in themselves these possibilities for exchange that have so much relevance, often to their own, personal backgrounds, and also their peers, begin to see ways to conceptualize learning about Asia and collaborations and partnerships with Asia as something that's very close. So absolutely. In fact, the past few years, our increased emphasis on Asian American studies is about transborder, right, transnational, and even some borderless topic areas where, we're starting to see that students are really engaging with understanding how societies evolve and change over time, the role of migration, and many shared issues that have to do with our pluralistic societies, with our growth of democracies and over our histories, and we're seeing ways to really find connection. So yes, in response to that, this is a great opportunity for us now to leverage this relationship to put our students in touch with each other in productive ways.
Hello, Dan. This is Mary Jayanti from Holy Cross College, Tiruchirappalli. Hope you're fine.
It's good to see you.
Yes, same here. In your presentation, on the area of interest for collaboration, I could see a pointer where we could collaborate on disability in Asian studies, because Holy Cross College has a separate department called the Department of Rehabilitation Science. And we were instituted in the 1980s, and we are the first of its kind in Asia. So probably you could let us know how we can proceed in this line. And also we have a separate school for special children in our campus called the Blossoms, where we have hands-on experience for trainers also to deal with special children. So this would be one area of collaboration we could explore.
That's very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Father George. Good to see you too.
Yeah, great to be with you all. Yeah, sorry I got in a little late. Yeah.
Welcome, Father. We actually introduce you, and we know that you're taking so much risk for building up the collaborative activities. We're very much happy to have you amidst us. As former president of IACHE and former principal of Salesian College, you have rich experience, and you'd be the right person to bridge the Indian needs with Asian network requirements. So over to you, Father, for your suggestions and collaborative activities.
Yeah, thank you, Josephine, and thanks, Dan. Thanks, Jayanti. And from my side, welcome to everyone who is here and have joined for this program out there. I think, as Dan said, and we went through his presentation a couple of times before, and this initiative, first of all, is happening at the right time in the histories of both these societies here in the US as well as in India for us. I say this because even yesterday I was on the University of San Francisco campus. Today for you, the whole day. You can see when you talk to faculty and when you sit at the backside of events that are happening on campuses, that there is this element of what next? What next in the almost having reached the kind of a dead end or being faced against a war. And as educationists, are we going to say, there's nothing we can do about it, or there's nothing that we can suggest about it, or, communicate in any way sense of defeatism? I don't think we have that option. So that to me is the starting point of doing that extra thing. The second thing that I noticed, whether there or here or any campuses of our kind, is that the faculty are, in a way, definitely stressed because they have so many things on their hands. Teaching the students, some special responsibility in the institute, having to pursue their own kind of area of interest over and above family for most of them. So even in this situation, that there are groups of faculty getting together to explore and to connect with the students and to bring this sense of, doing something new. So in this background, now coming to the pragmatics of whatever you heard and of going about it, I think here there's Dr. Jayanti here, who really experimented. And I saw as part of it how both the faculty and the students benefited from it. So that's a concrete story, Or I'm sure Dan mentioned about, Sherry from Taiwan coming all the way to Darjeeling, having just been to India once before for just 10 days. So individual commitment of faculty is what is going to be the starting point. So then comes a question, do I start, do they start, do we start, or does someone from third person provide the trigger? So this to me is a crucial thing. So the time is ripe, interest is there, possibilities are there. Now, how do we go about starting it? And to this, and this is what Dan and I and the network and for Vedam, for the Vedam in the office, we are trying to piece together. So it's not as if someone is coming to you and telling, could you please join in this? That might happen. It could also be envisaged the other way around. I have this idea. Could I explore it with a set of my students and with a set of students in an institute out there? And is there an institute or another faculty wanting to join me? And I think that's where probably Preeti and Jayanti met together and, made such a beautiful experience for nearly, 30 students in 3 or 4 campuses. So this is one. And to make things short, and the other point I want to make is, what I notice is the aspiration of the faculty to leave a lasting impression of the work they are doing. For all of us, time is running out. In the sense of there's a limit to the kind of contribution that we can make in the institution that we have loved, in the institution which we are part of. And come what may, if we can leave a digital footprint, if we can leave a footprint in the sense of a small publication, that's going to matter in ways that we do not know. And I'm here sharing my own story. It is after 20 years of me doing my research that people in Wisconsin tracks me down saying, could we have you for a program? Because we see that you have done work in this line. So now to make that happen, this network is telling us that our societies are undergoing similar problems, and we are as academic faculty trying to solve that problem just like the politicians are trying to do, or like the NGOs are trying to do. And I have an idea that I want to explore with a colleague and a set of students and create a document out of that. And I think this is a beautiful opportunity, and this is the crux of this new 21st century teaching and learning from my side. Thank you. Sorry for being a little extra long.
Thank you very much, Father. You actually picturized the Indian scenario, how faculty are being stressed. At the same time, taking an extra mile and creating a digital footprint, commitment is what is very challenging. And I believe faculty members from different institutions over here who have joined online and who are participants here would certainly take a lead, take step forward in building in collaborations. And that is what is going to make us unique in the days to come. And may I invite the organizers or any other participants, if you have any queries or you would like to interact with the resource persons, either Dan or Father George, they'll be available here to answer your queries.
Yes.
Victor Lozra, sir, you would like to speak? We are privileged that you are joining us today. You're muted, sir. We are unable to hear you.
Yeah.
So Victor, sir, could you
Father,
check
if I
your...
can just take a minute to respond. Father, thank you so much for a very reflective and a positive foot forward that we can take from here. While listening to you, there is something that I could think of. should we come together, both AsiaNet and IRC, where we can have a discussion or a deliberation on the challenges and the opportunities of a 21st century teacher. Because no longer the role of a teacher is limited to the four walls of a classroom, and multitasking, balancing academic work, research work, administrative work. So where does this definition of a 21st century teacher fit in? So maybe if we can have a deliberation or discussion and the way forward, that would really help even youngsters. So that is my reflection and response to what you spoke. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jayanti. Thank you. You got me right.
That's excellent. Thank you. Thank you for that. I would also say as we think about what the possibilities might be, we've discussed some examples of how IACHE and Asia Network faculty, institutions, students have connected, right, and have created programs. Let's also just bear in mind that the connections that we can form might be informal, okay? And so what we can do is put people in contact with this technology that we have, right? With Zoom, with WhatsApp and so forth. Simply an introduction may be a way to get to know someone who's maybe facing some similar challenges or maybe some different ones, just to kind of talk about, right? Talk about what the divergent experiences are or those in common. And out of that person-to-person relationship, maybe some ideas may come. So I think that I would encourage, and I think others as well, that those who've inaugurated programs, it starts with a conversation, right? And I would just encourage you to let us know if you have an interest in pursuing a particular area, and we can try to facilitate introductions. And maybe those initial contacts may lead to something larger. And if not, you may have a friendship, right? You may have a new colleague in another place that you can remain in touch with and see what the possibilities may be in the future. I think that's one of the great opportunities about this relationship is the person-to-person contact that it can enable.
Thank you very much, Dan. Are there any participants? And I believe that this session is going to be recurring on 23rd and 27th also. I understand that the participants there in Hyderabad, right from morning, you are attending series of sessions. And Dan and Father George would again join us on 23rd and 28th at 8 p.m. So those interested faculty members, you may rejoin and express your point of interest then on 23rd and 27th at 8 p.m. And now today, by 8 p.m., there are two more speakers, King Shuk Mukherjee and Susharita Mukherjee. They'll be joining us by 8:45. So I request all the participants to go home and log on so that you'll have much rich experience, and they'll be sharing in teaching perspective, collaborative activities in teaching between India and US. And one person is from economics and the other one from management studies. So I urge you to log on at 8:45 today. Any announcements from the organizers' desk? Dan or Father George, you would like to say anything? Your concluding remarks.
Yeah, my only note is that, even as, one is getting an idea, if, the expression of intent or what one is toying with, as Dr. Jayanti mentioned, if those ideas itself, can be texted or shared, that itself is a beginning. And that's what Dan was, it's always an informal thing. just to say that, if there's a faculty department of psychology or, clinical work, you are trying to experiment, with your students, a new instrument of measurement that you are developing for, I don't know, some with regard to hypertension or anxiety, and the cross-cultural validation of that. And you need, how does that affect Indian students? How does that affect Indian second generation students, let's say, living in Chicago? So don't let go of any thought that's coming to you. Keep it floating. Let it be made known. Soon, IACHE will come up, and this is what Josephine and Weatherman, we have been discussing. Interactive kind of a website where you can put in your ideas. But let it begin is all I've got to say, because of my thinking is time is running out for all of us. So if we can do something, well and good, and let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father. We are looking for that interactive website which will make us user-friendly. The moment they get an idea, they just log on. And I believe that is going to do great opportunities to build in future.
Excuse me, ma'am. I have
Yes,
a query.
ma'am.
May I speak? Yes.
Yes,
Good evening.
yes.
My name is Dr. Smita Jestasan. I'm from St. Francis Institute of Management and Research. Like sir had mentioned about the LOI, correct? So letter of intent, expression. Hello.
Yes, carry on.
Yes. So sir, like, if we could identify few areas for collaboration, to whom can we address this LOI to, or to which email ID can we share this LOI with?
I thought Dan had shared, to either of us you can send to begin with.
Yes.
And we will
Okay.
connect you with and take it forward for sure.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
May we know your name and then could you give us your details, ma'am, in the chat box, so that Father
Okay.
and Dan could,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
and you can even mail to Dan Chofness or
Yes,
IACHE
ma'am. Yes.
2011 at gmail.com.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Feedback link is posted. And if there are no more queries, shall we wind up, Father or Dan?
Yeah,
And we are
sure.
very much thankful. It should be 5 o'clock over there, 4:30. Made you wake up.
It's okay. Yeah.
Sorry for the
Okay.
inconvenience.
No.
And we are very happy that you made it possible. Thank you so much.
From my part, thank you so much for organizing this and for attending. It is just so delightful to see so many colleagues attending this session, and what this just means for the possibilities ahead. It's truly inspiring. So thank you again for joining, and I do look forward to being in touch.
Thank you. See you again. Yeah.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Dan, and thank you, Dr. Josephine, for coordinating it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your support all through and your encouragement. And shall we leave, ma'am, right now? Okay, Smita has given. Ma'am, could you just take her details also, so that we'll be able to log on? Dr. Smita.
I've taken a screenshot.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. Bye. We'll get back to you, ma'am, Smita.
Yes,
Thank you
Jocelyn,
so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you. Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Shall we close? We request the organizers to stop recording. Then 23rd and 27th, it's fine, right? That is I think it's a better time for you, 8 p.m. So we'll log on again. One will be in Chennai, the other one will be in Bangalore. So we'll keep you posted about the 30th session. But as of now, we meet on 30th by 8 p.m.
I look forward to it.